Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Monday Morning Art Talk. I'm Steven Silver, character designer and teacher, dedicated to helping you learn about the art industry and living up to your potential. Whippy! Alright, so today I wanted to discuss feeling inadequate as an artist amongst your peers, amongst professionals, amongst everyone out there. And why do I want to talk about this? I want to talk about this because it's something that we all go through. It's something that we all experience. When we're younger, we experience it, and even when we're older, we experience it. And I think this is something where I may have mentioned it before, but there's the sort of imposter syndrome, if you guys have heard of that. And it's just the syndrome where people who don't believe, who are good at what they do, but kind of don't really believe 100% that they are. So they feel like at any moment someone's going to bust them and find them out, right? So a lot of people go through that. You may experience it. I know I've experienced it and experienced it. But this is why I wanted to talk about just feeling inadequate amongst all these other artists, because this is I think a big frustration that I see a lot of younger artists having. It's, oh my God, how am I gonna compete? Look at all that artwork. It's so amazing. It's so good, and all this other stuff. And I just kind of want to say that it's the exact same thing as a professional that you can go through, and I go through it. I go through these phases of just, but I want to explain to you, even though I go through these phases, how you don't let it affect you. So I just want to tell you that, yes, I go through those phases of inadequacy. I was just the other day just looking through, through a site, Pinterest, different things like that, where there's so many things posted, and looking at the artwork and the designers, and just going, good God, man. Oh, I know what it was. It was a Character Design Reference, a great website that you guys should check out, just full of great resources. And man, and I was a judge on one of the on one of the things that they did, so I had to look through hundreds of people's submissions for this. It's a friendly, awesome little competition. Not even a competition, just hey, this is the theme, do something. And so I looked at it, and I remember going through there. Oh my God, there is so much good stuff. There is so much talent out there. And so just when I was looking through and looking at it the other day, I'm like, oh my God, just the amount of talent out there just blows my mind. And you can sit there, and what you can do, which I want to tell you not to do, you can go into that rabbit hole, and you can start looking at all this artwork and just feel like the worst artist. Like, that's when I feel like an imposter, to be honest with you. When I see the talent of artists out there. And because back, when I was growing up and getting started, there wasn't that much access to see all the artwork. The talent existed. The talent has always existed, and people are evolving even more now. And as the talent just is continuously just growing, and people are learning, and it's so easy to access knowledge now and learn from videos and meet artists and reach artists and get this and get that. And you can just be inundated with acquiring so much knowledge now so quickly, so easily. But back then, when I was growing up, when I was 24, when I first got started in the industry, it didn't exist. You looked at model sheets, you looked at artists in magazines, you looked at book illustrators, and you go, oh my God, so you always knew they were amazing artists. But now we just see it all. It's almost like I think about like it's horrible to say, I shouldn't have even laughed. The milk carton, when I was growing up, on milk cartons, they used to, on the back of it, say who was kidnapped. Someone was kidnapped. And you'd read who it was. It was a way for them to get out who's been kidnapped. But you look at it and go, they've been kidnapped. They've been gone for 6 years, 7 years, missing. And you're like, oh my God, how does anyone stand a chance? But it wasn't just the milk carton people that were kids that were kidnapped. there must have been thousands upon kids that have been kidnapped. And of course there were. And it's the same thing that it's almost like today. It's just because we don't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And that's what I'm trying to get at with this art. It's like this amazing artwork has always existed. We just see it all so quickly right now. So now when I even see it, I go, man, I don't know that I could have gotten into the industry up against half the talent that's out there right now. And that's a real thing. But what I do well, it's not even what I do. I just know in my heart of hearts that I am me. And that's what you have to come to terms with. You just got to know that, like, I can't remember the author, it'll come to my mind, but be yourself because everyone else is already taken. And that's the bottom line. You just have to, you got to think about what you're thinking about. That's what it all comes down to. And what I mean by that is when you're thinking and you're going down that rabbit hole, or you're thinking about all the worries and you're thinking about all these other things, what you have to be able to do and start to control is for you to be able to go, aha, I got you. No, you're messing with me, and that's not what's really going on, and it's not really that important. I know that I'm me. I know that I'm doing my best. I'm doing what I have to do. And so when we just become our own little tree, you know, I always bring up the tree, but we become our own little apple tree, our own little orange tree, and we just produce. We're all individual. There's thousands of orange trees in the orange grove, but they all have their own amount of fruit they're going to bear. Some of them drop more rotten fruit. Some of them take on even more fruit, and then will flourish. So we're all individual like that. So when you just can maybe tell yourself that I'm my own little happy orange tree. I sound like Bob Ross here. I'm my own little happy tree, you know, and that's what you kind of want to become. Your own little happy tree, because you're in control of you. And you're not in control of those other people's talent, and you're not in control, you know, so what happens is there's going to get that sense of envy and jealousy and, oh my God, I'm not so good, how am I going to get better? Well, what you have to do too is if it really does affect you, you got to tell yourself, well, I got to do something about it, man. And now what you have to do about it is observe that artist and look at what they do that fascinates you. What is it that makes you go, wow? So you might be looking at the gesture. You might be looking at the design. You may be looking at the feeling of it. You may be looking at the composition of it. You may be looking at the color of it. There's a lot of different things you could be eyeballing, but what is it that intrigues you? And so once you understand, like, hey, that's what intrigues me, then you can start to learn that. But I also do want to say, and this isn't to make anything better at all, okay? But there's a lot of talent out there, and there's some amazing artists, but what blows me away a lot of the times is, as good as some of these artists are, they're not working. And you go, well, how is that possible? How is this talent, how are these people who are so talented not working? How is that possible? Well, it's possible because sometimes it's not just the artwork, but it's just your own sort of presentation. It's how you present yourself. It's how willing are you to meet people? How willing are you to take chances? How willing are you to sacrifice? How willing are you to risk things? How willing are you to do any of these things that might put you in an uncomfortable situation by setting up a table at a convention or doing something or whatever it may be that's sort of stopping you from meeting the right people. And also, I feel too, a lot of people, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, and don't be pissed at me, but I feel people are spending so much time rendering the hell out of stuff and just developing and making these crazy sick illustrations and stuff, and then they want to get into animation or the gaming, but you don't need to do that necessarily, right? There's a limited amount of concept guys that are doing the concept thing, and even if you do, like, there's a limited amount, you know, but there's more broad storyboarding jobs. There's more broad, maybe background layout, storyboard revision sort of jobs. There becomes more of these just super render guy that can make things awesome, you know, if you're not doing anything with it. And that's why Go simple. And the reason I say it is because I'm not a super, this is where my imposter syndrome comes in. I'm not a super developed artist, and I truly believe that within rendering and color and composition. I'm not. I do character design, I do caricature, but I don't create elaborate scenes. There's so many amazing character designers out there. And so, but what it is that I've always done things simply. I've never had to create that much stress or that much energy or that much work. I've worked hard, but I haven't had to kill myself trying to develop something that just to have a showcase of artwork that I could say, look at me. Or not even that, just my, because I think part of us drives us to get better because we do want to get better for ourselves, but we want people to notice it. And that's a fact. And you can deny that all you want, but the reason you're trying to improve because you want people to notice. And who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to be noticed for artwork that they're doing that's great and awesome and amazing? And this is why we appreciate the masters, and we can look at someone like John Singer Sargent, which everyone has an admiration for, Rockwell and Leindeck, and go, oh my God, these guys are just the top of the food chain, and how unbelievable. You think that those guys weren't constantly just trying to improve upon themselves and wanted people to look at them and appreciate their artwork? Of course they did. Why? Because it gave them work. Through being so good and so prolific and amazing, they were able to survive as artists and make living as an artist. And that's the dream, right? That's what we all want. We want to make a living as an artist. That's what we do. So just, and so people, I feel like just like rendering stuff so much just to try to impress other people. And I feel like, man, I've kind of gotten away with Blue Bloody Murder sometimes. I feel like, I've just sketched things out, I rough things out. I'll do a cleanup. I'll throw some simple color on stuff, and it seems to work. And I keep getting work, and I've always worked. And it's just like, and I've done it in a simple manner. So what I'm saying is maybe you don't have to, maybe that stress you put on yourself that you got to be as good as these other people, maybe you don't have to go to that level. I'm not saying don't learn, don't have skill. You got to have skill. But what I'm saying is just maybe think about that. And that's the thing that sort of, just shocks me is, just when I'm looking at work. And I'm just spinning in my mind, just like jump to something else there. I just did a lecture today at a school, and it was fantastic, and just a great group of students were there and very inquisitive, and it was awesome, great questions. And just talking to them, I get so excited about it. But at the end, just speaking to, I don't sometimes know what I'm saying. I think sometimes my voice is just this inner thing that sort of comes out of me. But there's one of the students that I met afterwards is all, one thing that you said that really stuck with me is all, you said, don't worry about style, worry about building your skill, worry about skill. And just that little sentence, that's all it took. Maybe you heard nothing else, but that one little thing, and these are the things that you might hear, that one little nugget in a teacher, in someone, your parent, or anyone that said something to you in life. And I thought, that is true. It's like, did I say that? But yeah, the reality is that's so true. It's just like, don't worry about your style. Don't get so caught up in that. Just worry about your skill set to get you there. All right. So that's very important. But yes, being inadequate in this field, it's going to happen. And I feel it. And doesn't matter what level of professionalism you are, where you are in the food chain, we all feel it, I think, if we're true to ourselves and we look. But yeah, I look at work and go, dang. But again, I have that in my mind. I think about what I'm thinking about, and I know that I am me. Be yourself, and that's the most important thing. Be your own little apple tree. All right, you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week, and I'll see you at DesignerCon, not CTN. No CTN, DesignerCon. See you guys there. Take it easy. To subscribe to my mailing list and stay updated on future workshops and events, please go to my contact at silvertunes.com and simply hit join mailing list. Until the next time, make it a great week, and thank you for listening.